Hey friends, this is Abby with Abby's Musings, where I'm committed to providing you with doses of motivation and positivity through 90 seconds in the Word. It is a beautiful, hot day in DC, and I'm getting ready to spend the day with family, but I'm never going to leave you hanging. All right, today's verse comes from Proverbs 10:22, and it says, "The Lord brings wealth without a painful toil to it." So what does that mean? Well, it certainly doesn't mean that we can gain wealth or get wealth and not have to work hard for it, unless we inherit it, which is not my case, but you know what I mean. And why would God say that? It's deeper than that. It's more than just, painful toil as in working. It means, does it come with a burden to it, right? We hear so often people use phrases like money is not everything. And then every now and then I'm a little facetious and I say, well, I'd like to find out the stress of that. But what it's really saying is that we don't want to get so caught up, or at least this is my interpretation of it. We don't want to get so caught up in getting wealthy, in being wealthy, that we, number one, do anything for it, right? Because the word tells us that the love of money can create a lot of problems for you, right? Money itself is not evil. Being wealthy is not evil. So let's throw that out the way. But we don't want to get up so caught up in the prosperity preaching either, right? Because wealth can show up in a whole lot of different ways. Because if I have $1 million today, somebody gave me $1 million, but I only have one day to live, then what good is that money to me, right? So again, not saying that money is not important. And actually, I think I'll do maybe a separate video on that, because a lot of times as Christians, we get caught up in this battle in believing that, gaining wealth, is somehow a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And what my interpretation of the verse is really reminding of is, to what lengths are you willing to do it? Because we know that we can look around at people that have so much material things, so much wealth, so that, access and freedom to do anything, and that are still miserable inside, right? So we still have to be responsible, and we still have to be good stewards of the wealth that we obtain. And what exactly are we doing, or are we willing to do, just to be able to gain the wealth? And the wealth, like I said, it could be material things. It could just be, getting a higher salary. Like, what are you sacrificing? What are you giving up in order to have that? It doesn't mean that we don't work hard. Nothing's wrong with hard work. Nothing's wrong with making sacrifices and doing things temporarily, especially if you have a family, you have children, and you have bigger goals that you're striving for. But if you get to the point that you have everything that you think that you could have, you got the big house and the cars, and you can travel and do all of those things, and you're still miserable inside, then what good is the wealth? So let us make sure that as we're gaining wealth, that we're making sure that there's not a painful toil to it, that there's not a huger sacrifice that we're making. Because at the end of the day and at the end of life, we all leave these things behind. Stay encouraged, friends, and I'll see you soon.